Welcome back to Majesty Mike, everybody. Today we have Kevin joining us on the pod. Kevin, welcome to the pod.
Hey, Kevin.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're so excited. So let's just get right into it. How did you get the idea for your channel?
It actually kind of happened accidentally. So I'm a pro acrobat first, and then I work in digital marketing. Because spoiler alert, when you do like death-defying things, it unfortunately doesn't pay the bills in every scenario. So that was kind of like my side hustle that turned into a little bit more full time. And I started just kind of like vlogging my life and things like that. Like I was living on tour at one point last year, and it was like not taking off at all. I had like 8 people watching me, and like 4 of them were family members. But I was working in digital marketing. I was like, fuck, like I was negotiating these deals for like other influencers of like $10,000 per post, 5,000, and I was like,
The fuck?
God, and I'm about to go out there and like swing from 30 feet in the air, which I love. And I love doing it and stuff. And then I made this one video kind of about like the Hermes like buying process, because I was talking about it actually more from like a marketing side, and how I actually thought that it was a very genius marketing idea of how you can't just like walk into Hermes and buy a Birkin.
I'm very intrigued by it. Yeah.
And I didn't realize how many people didn't realize that. So I made this video on it. The video did super well. People started asking other questions. And then it just like slowly morphed into like fashion content. And I never really had that intention. And even, someone commented one day, they were like, I love your style so much. My dog is really sick right now, so my budget is tight, but I really want to buy myself a bag. And I was like, not the dog, So I was like, I have to recommend her a bag. And then other people started commenting. And now, mayonnaise sales reps are in my DM, like asking like what bag they should be carrying around. So it totally happened like accidentally.
I love it. But obviously it's like you're combining this love of fashion and like a bit of humor. You're like a bit of a comedian almost.
You're hilarious.
So I never truly thought that I was funny. I always, especially in this like short form content style, it's like you literally have like 0.3 seconds to like catch somebody's attention in like a TikTok video. And like with the hooks and stuff, and like I just never had it in me to like be like that, like 3 bags that you must carry for 2023. I was like, that's just never going to be me. So I was like, I'm just going to try to like really be like as real. Like I want people when they watch my videos to feel like we're just genuinely sitting there, like having tea, having a drink together, and just like telling it how it is.
Have you always lived in Vegas?
Actually grew up in Connecticut.
Okay, one thing I can't deal with Vegas is the summer heat. It's so deathly hot there. How the fuck do you survive?
It's the worst, but barely. Line between like surviving and thriving. It's right on the brink of survival. Especially this past summer, we had so many days of like 117 and like continuous in a row. Like I swear, like Mother Nature is just working against the bad bitch lifestyle when it's that hot. Skin is burnt,
Fuck, every time we go to Vegas, especially in like
we never go outside.
We never go outside. We're always trapped in the casinos. Like I don't
know how trapped we are.
Wow.
We never want to go outside.
That's fair.
Yeah, you can't. But and I say it all the time too, like I am very much an indoor cat. Like you're not going to catch me hiking. That's not really like my lifestyle and my brand. So it's annoying because you still have to like walk to the car in 117. So I try to just like make it like as minimal outside exposure as possible.
Yeah.
How's the dating scene in Vegas?
Well, from Grindr, I mean,
awful.
From what I can tell, and you'll have to tell me this, but whenever we visit and I go on like Grindr or something, it's always visitors. It's never locals.
Yeah, you have to like really get into like the depths of Vegas to like encounter a local. And then you have to go even further to encounter a local that's like not horrible. Somebody introduced me to this like idea that like Vegas is a fishbowl and like you literally just like run into the same people. Everybody knows somebody like in some capacity, like if they're a local.
Yeah.
And like it's just the absolute Wild West. Like I've given up. I think I'm just gonna be single forever.
There's always somebody.
You're still young. By the way, how old are you? How old are you?
Oh, I'm 24.
Where do you go on vacation when you do leave Vegas?
I am definitely a much more like tropical vacationer or like European vacationer. I've been to over 45 countries, but most of it's been through work, which like not complaining, we love a business trip. So I think like I feel like my future husband's in Europe.
Oh.
Not
Just Vegas or just like not in America?
well, maybe just not in America. I mean, like, what's the other option? Like Wyoming, or like Kansas City.
Oh my
Like
God.
it goes downhill.
Well, what's your background? What's your background? Your family's background?
So my dad is in business. My mom was a gymnast. So they kind of combined that. They owned a gym when I was growing up. My mother coached me in gymnastics. And then it was like probably around the age of like 15 or 16, I like got to a realization of like, I'm not going to the Olympics. And I really didn't have another skill set outside of gymnastics. And that's when like I saw like a Cirque du Soleil show and I was like, okay, that's what I'll do. So it's weird because I have no degree. Here I'm like self-shitting on myself. I'm like, I have nothing.
No, I was gonna ask about Cirque du Soleil. So clearly you've heard of it, especially living in Vegas. But have you ever like wanted to be a part of Cirque du Soleil?
We've had a couple of like run-ins together, and it's like there's so many variables, and it never quite seems to work out. But I've still, managed to have like a pretty good career outside of Cirque, and I feel like full transparency, like when just like an Uber driver asked me, like, what do you do for work? I'm like, I work for Cirque du Soleil because nobody's ever heard of anything outside of that. And like the amount of time to explain. So
Makes sense. So are you doing your social media full time at this point?
yeah, so I actually run an agency and I have 3 employees that work under me as far as like working on other brands and clients. And then I'm kind of like shifting my focus like all to myself. Like I said, like it's really been in like the last like 6 to 8 months that it's like really started to like take off. Like I'm picking up a little bit of traction and now I just like have the fever and like can't stop. As far as like I'm working on a bag line right now, which is proving to be like way harder and more effort than I wanted to put in the first place. And just like pursuing like all the other avenues that come along with like personal brand and like influencing things like that.
So what are your goals in 2023 from a business perspective?
That's tough. I think honestly, as cliche, I think I want a little bit more balance. Like I'm pretty satisfied in the moment with like from a financial standpoint, like for myself, I feel like I'm doing well. It's now just like finding the balance between, staying up for 22 hours a day to do things and like having a life at the same time. Basically what I'm getting at is like, by the time I turn 25, I don't want to be looking like I'm 40.
I don't think you'll have to worry about that.
No.
But I understand.
I mean, I just have a question about your bag line. Like, can you tell us a little more about this? Like, when is it coming out? What's it called? I'm very curious.
Can you send me one?
Yeah. Can we have a sample?
Absolutely. Oh my God. No, this will like forever stay in my heart as like the first people that would allow me on a podcast.
What? Anytime.
Yeah. So I'm working on it. It's like in the very early stages right now. I'm like, my brand right now is like the Contortionist, which is like a combination between contortion and couture. So I would say like we're probably like 6 months out because there's like a lot of pressure. Like so often I'm here like shitting on these other designers of like certain bags that they come out with. So there's a lot of pressure to begin with, and it's really hard, like I was under the impression for some reason that I could just like describe my idea to somebody and they would like make me a prototype, and that's 100% not how it works. So it's just a lot of like electronic sketching and things like that happening in the moment to like really like get everything perfect.
Working with other people is like the worst thing ever. I've come to realize.
Except me.
Yeah, that's why I had to do a podcast with my best friend, because I'm just like, not for me. Other people aren't for me.
Yeah.
It's also too, it's like when you're working with other people, you're relying on them in some capacity. And like obviously like I want to like try to like get things out like as soon as possible and stuff. And like so often I feel like I'm like reaching out to these like third parties being like, hey, like been a few weeks, like do we have anything? Have we looked at my email? Have we, are we still doing the same project or,
Speaking of shit talking brands, what do you think is like a brand of the past, canceled, done? And what is the must-have brand for 2023?
So I think Balenciaga is definitely done. I do see them making a comeback like in a few months, maybe a year. Like I do think they will. Like I can't see the brand fully dying off. But just from like what I've like really been seeing and noticing, like nobody is attaching to that sinking ship in the moment. And I think rightfully so. Like it definitely like the stuff that they put out was not appropriate like by any means. And even interestingly, from a marketing perspective, like one of my like biggest gripes the entire time was like these companies have marketing teams of like 20, 30 plus people that work on these campaigns. And I'm like, not one person sat in a room and said, this was not the move. Like, I don't think this is a good idea.
Yeah.
Even just like, and it reminds me of like that scene in like Devil Wears Prada of like where they're sitting in the conference room and they're presenting all the different ideas. And I'm like, so not one person had a different idea to present anything. So I think, yeah, Balenciaga is definitely done. And then I would say the it brand for this year, in my opinion, is going to be Dior. I think that Dior has always kind of been a little bit more like an old money, like more subtle brand. And I think it's like really starting to like come out with some like very innovative designs, unique designs that aren't so abstract to the point where you're just like, God, what am I looking at?
I mean, Dior is not really an entry level brand. Like for someone who's just trying to get into the designer world, where would you point them to?
So if somebody was like just trying to get into the designer world, I would probably say the best places to start. I think Burberry's pretty entry level. Like they have some really expensive stuff, but I feel like they also have some like very reasonably priced, solid stuff that will be like timeless. You can dress it up or dress it down. And I think that that's something that's like really important is a lot of people buying these brands are like not going to New York Fashion Week. They're not like going out 7 days a week. And so I think that that's like really important, especially when you make that like first purchase. You really have to get your money's worth. So make sure that it's something that you can wear to yoga and to a nice dinner, you know?
I love handbags and like all things designer. So I just have to ask, what is your favorite thing that you own?
My favorite thing that I own is a Prada triangle. And I wear it as like a crossbody like fanny pack. And I'm just obsessed with the shape. Um, it's like it's convenient and it's just different. Like it's not a standard like fanny pack. And then you can also like wear it on your shoulder as like a shoulder bag. You can wear it as like a belt bag. I just feel like there's so many different ways that you can really maximize, um, like it's a completely different look every time and a different vibe. So yeah, I'm obsessed with it. It's like one of my best purchases to date. And I've made some bad ones.
I swear that I'm like the first person on the planet who had the Prada diaper bag. Like it was just me and me alone. And now everybody has it. And I'm like, dude, this was me. I started this. No one even knew about this bag.
And I love that. And I think that that's something that I really want, that my channel encourages, is like, even when like I roast like certain ones or like shit all over certain things, like something that I like can't stress enough to people is, I'm like, the title of the video is designer items that wouldn't be in my collection. And I'm always the first to like be in the comments when someone's like, I love that, or you're wrong because I actually love that. I'm like, no, I'm not wrong. I love that for you. And whenever I'm talking about like not liking something, it's because I don't like it for myself. But anybody can wear anything. And it's all about the vibe, the confidence, and the personal style that you put into it.
Yeah. I always say to someone when they love something and I don't like it, I'm like, it's very you. Like it suits you.
Yeah.
You know, not me, but you.
Is that what you think about my fucking shirt that you hate?
Oh my, no, I don't even think it's you. I just hate your
the shirt.
Not this
So
one.
rude.
Just he has a different shirt. That's
It's a guest shirt and she hates it.
It's leopard print. Can we discuss it?
I love leopard.
Leopard print is controversial. Like, again, I would have to like really see it and like, again, like if you love it, like and that's really, and I mean that from my heart. Like when somebody loves something or somebody likes something, like I love that passion that they have for it. Like, go off, queen, with your diaper bag.
I'm going to DM you a picture of this shirt. I want a full review on it. I'm telling, like, Chris, it's giving me full, like, Cheetah Girl vibes, like Raven Simone, whatever year.
Friends for life. Yeah.
You have to love it for me, Amira.
Okay, I get into all the Vegas questions. We want to hear all about Vegas.
I know, Vegas.
You're 24
Vegas.
living in Vegas. You must be.
You have some stories.
Running up and down the strip.
What?
I don't know.
I know, that's what I picture too. What is your craziest story? Like, what clubs have you gone to? What have you seen? Tell us some wild things.
My craziest Vegas story is my best friend from Connecticut actually came here just for like a little girls' weekend. And when people come from places that have absolutely nothing but a Walmart, they are in heat, and they're feral and they can't contain themselves. So, and I can hold that energy. Like, even as a local living here, like I can truly hold the energy to like rage on for a few days. And we were staying at New York. I know she probably didn't expect that, but yeah, we were. And we had a conjoining room. And all of a sudden one night we're like getting ready to go out and we hear this like knocking on the door. And my friend, like an idiot, opens the door. Like it could have been anything behind that door, but it's none other than a Vegas bachelorette party who is completely drunk. So we like invite them into their room. We have like a couple of shots. We catch up with them later in the night at MGM Grand, completely like different hotels. Like we should not have run into them out of all the people, but we run into our roommates. We continue going on with the night. I have zero recollection, except the next morning I wake up in the maid of honor's bed, fully clothed, shoes on and everything. Like, so yeah. And then I have like, I'm looking like back through my phone. My friend is getting proposed to in the middle of the MGM Grand lobby. Yeah, so pretty wild night.
Like, give us some club recommendations. Like, if you were trying to give people recommendations, like restaurants, clubs, hotels, like what are the do's and don'ts? And also, do you gamble?
So I don't really gamble. I more play slot machines because there is nothing more satisfying when the machine goes crazy and you've won like $2.75.
Totally.
I love it. Like it starts shaking, the lights are flashing, things are like the rush and adrenaline that it gives me. But other than that, like I always tell people, I'm like, I'm not smart enough to play on the tables, as far as like, you have to like be doing math quick. And then there's like certain rules that you have to follow. And like, because if you do something wrong, you can screw up the person next to you. And then they're going to want to like fight you and things like that. Like it's just way too much drama.
Oh, I love a good slot machine.
We have our own stories.
Oh,
Slot machines are the best. There's a slot machine story here.
so many, but we'll tell you when we come to Vegas. We're gonna take you
Offline.
out for a drink,
Yeah.
and we're gonna go hit the slots. You're coming, and we're gonna make fun of people's bags all along the way.
Love to, or I even like, I love to do sometimes like the pairing of like the bag with an outfit. I like sometimes I'll be like, oh, I think that was probably the only bag of choice, you know? Like it just didn't go with the outfit whatsoever. So I'm like, that was probably the one and only bag, and you should have opted to go with no bag.
You need to tell
As far though as like the restaurant and like club recommendations, there are a few like very slept on places here. And I would say number one is Le Cave at Wynn. It's like fairly new. Amazing, like American Italian cuisine style. Then Spago at Bellagio is another like incredible option. I feel like when people come, they're like, have to go to Nobu and have to go to Tao. And I actually I like Nobu, but not in Vegas.
No, I branch out from there.
Well,
Do you go to Nobu and Tao?
My God, I do, but I went to X-Pot last time. Have you been there?
switch it up.
I haven't been to X-Pot.
Okay.
What hotel is it at?
It's connected to the Venetian and the Palazzo.
Oh, okay, cool. I just find like here, Nobu, like if you go to like Nobu Malibu, it's a completely different experience than like Nobu Caesars, where I feel like a tourist attraction and like the entire casino is just like walking by, like looking at you like eat your like multi-$100 meal.
I admit I did not enjoy it. I didn't enjoy Nobu in Vegas. No, it wasn't great.
Yeah, well, that was me at Tao, is I was like, everybody was like raving about it, and they were just like raving about like the atmosphere and stuff. And I'm like, as far as vibes, absolutely. But when it like came down to the food, I was like, I have to eat after this because it was so bad.
Oh no. Have you ever met any celebrities just while you've been in Vegas?
Yeah, I've actually I've performed for a few of them. I performed for Jimmy Kimmel not too long ago. Most of the times, celebrities it's like very weird interactions. Like one day I like turned around on an escalator and there was like Victoria Justice, and like there it was like taking everything I had in me not to be like, is Britney actually free? I don't know though. I also feel like too at the same time, like Vegas is kind of like out of its heyday as far as like celebrities just like hanging around. I feel like I feel like if they are here, they're here to work, and like that's it. And like you never see them outside of the event that they're working.
Right.
Like I worked at a dinner spot here in Vegas, and they were like pretty certain Lady Gaga was showing up one night, and they like cleared the space. It was like all hands on deck. I was so disappointed she didn't show up.
Oh,
That's a bummer.
that is a bummer. What about Piranha? I haven't heard you say Piranha at all. Have you gone there?
So I've been a few times. It's not really my scene.
No?
I felt like maybe it was just the night that I went, but it was so packed, it was so sweaty, and like after like 3 vodka cranberries, like the gays just don't know how to act, and then like shirts are coming off and like things are happening like all around you, and like oily sweat and like designer leather like does not mix. And like when it's just like spraying off like a sprinkler, you're like, okay, it's time to go.
Gross.
Shit.
I think Omnia is great, especially just for like the overall like aesthetic. And I actually really love, for not being an outdoor person, I love the pool clubs. There's something about like just in the day. Now you don't get in the pool at these pool clubs. That's like a death sentence. But just like being outside, being in the atmosphere, a little day drinking, some sun, and you still like have like your little spot, you don't have to like be in the mosh pit, and it's not weird. you know, like if you go to the club and you're not like raging on, it's like, oh my God, like why you're just like insecure, you can't dance. No, sometimes I just want to relax.
I get
Yeah.
that. Have you ever been to Dallas?
I actually was just in Dallas like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I was doing a Christmas show and yeah, we were performing there.
Did you go to the neighborhood?
No, we literally were there for less than 24 hours. Like we pulled in, threw the show up, and then like we're pulling out 12 hours later. But I did go to a Dallas Target. So it was definitely a different experience than other places that I've been.
Really?
Why?
Yeah, tell us.
Well, our Uber driver almost killed us. And they're like, damn, people here in Dallas don't know how to drive. I was like, same, but yeah, it just like the whole overall experience. I was like, wow, we're definitely in Texas now.
Oh my God.
See?
Yeah.
People are crazy here when they drive.
Chris and I moved from Canada, so don't worry about offending us about talking about Dallas. Yeah.
No, as I started to say that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like tread very lightly here, just in case they're like hardcore Dallas.
Yeah,
No, you can't offend us.
No.
I don't even drive
I do.
here.
Wildly. But no, the clubs here are literally like what exactly what you're describing at Prana. Like even before the alcohol gets to you, like pants off, shirts off.
And you know, like what I think is like one of the funniest things too, like relating it back to my channel just to make it about me. Um, Most of the hate that I get is actually from other gays, you know, and I feel like sometimes like that can be the club scene too. It's like you walk in and it's like it's like a couple looks before they like make up their mind of like Tinder, like left swipe, right swipe. Like I'm either gonna like you or I absolutely hate you.
People are fucking judgy. I'm telling you.
How do you handle hate on your actual channel?
I'll almost like most of the time I do try to respond, and I like will like be mean back most of the time, because I think that social media is such like a trivial concept, and like there are people that like genuinely like do get very offended with certain comments, and I've just like kind of like adopted this idea of being like, I am not letting somebody with a faceless profile and 60 followers tell me that like I'm not shit, you know?
No,
And it's you know, I equate it to, it's like I feel like social media bullying is the modern day like stealing somebody's lunch money. And I'm like, I just can't allow that to happen. And like more so for if somebody like attacks somebody, another one of my followers, I'm like, that is not okay. You know, like you can't, like if somebody comments and they're like, oh my God, I love this bag. And then someone's like, that's an ugly, and I'm like, whoa, like calm down, you know? So it doesn't really bother me.
I feel the same way. I don't mind to respond.
You don't.
I don't mind. I mean, it's just like people coming for you on social media, and I'm just like, dude, you're wearing Crocs. Like, you think you can hurt my feelings? No, you can't.
Hey, Crocs are back in.
No, they're not.
They
Who
are.
said that?
There's lineups at the malls.
Okay, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean they're okay.
What I've found too is like there's been like a couple of times like somebody will write like 5 hate comments in a row. And I'll like write back like one thing. Like once I wrote back to this one person, I was like, it's giving elevated blood pressure. Like, relax. This is not healthy. And they lost it. Like just completely lost it. And I made like a comment like that. And I was like, I took one look at your page and I just know you're not hating on me. I know it. Once again, lost it, like 5 more comments. And then they DM'd me to be like, you're actually really mean. You don't deserve to have followers because the world doesn't need bullies like you in it. And I was like, you wrote me a 5-page essay about my life, you know, hating on it. And now I'm the mean one.
People they can dish it, but they can't take it.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's one of those, I love the meme that's like, before you make a joke towards me, just make sure you're ready for the one that I'm going to make back.
Totally.
And I feel that like, hold that energy when mine is coming.
So getting back to your channel for a second, was it like a gradual progression of getting followers, or were there a couple of standout videos that kind of went, mini viral and kind of blew up overnight?
No, I think it actually has been like super gradual. I did have one like early on that hit 1 million, and that like got me to like my first 10K. And then like honestly, it's just been like a steady gradual growth since then. And so far the momentum hasn't stopped. Like it's slowed down a bit. Like I feel like in the beginning it's like really easy to like gain a lot of traction. And then also like social media burnout is real. It's not that I feel like creatively burnt out, but I just like go through certain phases where I'm like, oh my God, the last thing that I want to do is like record a video right now.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
So I would say my biggest pet peeve in life is people that are too close to you in terms of like physical distance. Like I was one of like when the whole like social distancing came out, I was like like feeling the breath of somebody else, or like somebody like standing on the back of your feet. And then I think like in terms of like social media, my biggest pet peeve is like unauthentic clout chasers, like people that are just like, hey everyone, like there's just something about it that like if I see that, I'm immediately like whoop.
You want to throw some names? You want to give us
No, I actually like, this is horrible. Like if I ever went to like an influencer event or something, I'd have like almost no idea who anybody was, because I don't really like watch anybody regularly enough to like know who they are. I know who a few people are, but that's just, like I really like them. But like again, I can like smell that like inauthenticness from like that first 3-second hook, and then I'm like, okay, you are just not for me. And I would not even remember.
I feel like I'm like you too. I feel like I'm very good with that.
Let you know who I find is like just not the tea.
Yeah.
Oh, Kevin, we're like gonna stay in touch. I'm gonna be in your DMs. I want all the tea.
Oh, for sure.
You're gonna have to come to our influencer Netflix party at the end of the year and sniff out who's fucking fake and who's not.
Oh yeah, like I actually, one of my like favorite Netflix shows is The Circle, because I'm like, I think I would actually like, I would be able to like smell out like the inauthenticity from like a mile away. And it just like, it's to me, and I get it, like you're there, you're trying to win, things like that, but I'm like, some of the things that these people say is so cringy to like, it's literally like message number 2, the game just started. They're like, I just truly feel so connected with you.
I feel that way too. I'm like, it's a little too, it's too needy. But what I wonder about The Circle is I feel like the concept is lost. Like everyone teams up to try and get out the catfish. I'm like, that's not the game.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing too is I find they get like so angry when somebody's a catfish, and I'm like, yeah, but the point is to win, and so yeah, maybe they didn't do it as themselves, but if they did it well as another person, like this isn't like go there, make lifelong friends and be like your authentic self. It's to win.
So we have some fast fives. We do this with basically every guest.
Yeah.
It's basically this or that. Or
just answer as fast as you can.
Yeah, as fast as you possibly can. Club or bar?
Bar.
Instagram or TikTok?
Instagram.
Netflix or Hulu?
Hulu.
Nell or DR? But I think I know who you're gonna say.
DR.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Low key or high key birthday parties?
High key birthday party.
Ooh, we love that.
Totally agree.
We just came back from Mexico for my 30th, and it was a fucking wild time.
Wait, I feel can I interrupt your question? I feel like I need to justify my like Hulu over Netflix choice.
Please.
So I just want to explain that Hulu puts out like some really good documentaries, and they do it like 2 weeks later. Like a major event happens, and like 2 weeks later, Hulu already has the documentary out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hulu is expensive though. Like I want to watch all the housewives and stuff, and then it's like an extra $70 a month, and then it's like an extra $50 to get it without the commercials. I'm like, damn, this is pricey.
Yeah, the bill runs up quick.
Yeah.
So we moved away from cable because of this, and here we are. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just felt like I needed to justify that.
No,
No,
it's true.
yeah.
Hulu is, their prices are a little crazy, but I pay it because I don't want to watch commercials.
Better content.
Should we address your birthday giveaway?
I think so.
I wish we could send one to Kevin.
I know.
So we're teaming up with Cinnaholic.
Do you know Cinnaholic?
Love Cinnaholic. We have like 4 out here in Vegas.
Oh,
my
okay,
God,
yeah.
that's amazing.
So they're dairy-free vegan, and we are doing a giveaway today.
They look absolutely amazing. One of them is cake batter topping with cookie dough crumbles, and I think it's yours, which is caramel and brownie bites, which looks absolutely delicious.
They look so good. So we're going to be doing a giveaway on our Instagram page, so make sure to head over there to find out how to enter.
I do want to give a shout out to the Cinnaholic we were at this morning that we got these from. Cinnaholic in Richardson in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Dallas is full of Cinnaholics all over the place, including Addison, Arlington. Basically everywhere you go in Dallas, they have a Cinnaholic.
That's awesome. Speaking of sweet treats, what's your go-to cheat meal, Kevin?
Probably Cheesecake Factory. There's something about it like I am just obsessed with. And also like anything like donut. I'm definitely like a sweet over savory person. So I'll like almost always opt for something sweet versus like fries. But yeah, so that's why like Cinnaholic is perfect because you can customize it too, you know?
Oh, so
That is
good.
So true. I think this is a pretty good place to wrap up, but we need to have you back on the pod once you launch your line and keep up with everything because I feel like your career is going to skyrocket.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
coming on the pod, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.